Hi, my name's Laura Glowis, and I'm an ERP advisor here at Striven. Over the next few videos, I'm going to walk you through service management. In this video, we're going to go over setting up tasks for service management. This will include setting up task types, checklist items, pools setup, service metrics, and custom fields. So let's get started learning more about Striven. In this video, we're going to go over setting up tasks. This includes task types, checklist items, setting up pools, setting up for calculating service metrics on tasks, and custom fields. So let's get started and learn more about Striven. From the dashboard, we're going to Company, then Settings, and then Tasks, and then Task Setup. In this case, we'll first start with task priorities. Here you can see we have various priorities as well as a response time. We can add our own priority here. For example, if we add in low and call this one a light blue color, we can change our response time to 12 hours and make this our default if we choose. We can also add in a description here. In this case, I'm going to save and close. Now we'll move on to task types. You can see that I already have some built in for me. If we add a new task type, we can call it checklist item. And we can choose to display it in the menu, which will take about 30 minutes to clear the cache and display up here in your task menu. And we can also make sure that it's visible on our Striven Partner portal, and we can also show recent orders and tasks. Here we have the option to put in lead time for task days, as well as to assign an email to task address. Just note that if you put something in here that's a generic, such as task@striven.com, you'll probably get a flag that says that it's a duplicate email. Try to make it a little more specific if you can. Here we can set our default assignments, which would be the people working on the task. As you can see, we'll set this one to Account Manager. Our default priority, which is already set to normal, but let's go ahead and set this one to high priority. We can make our customer required, we can include customer location, and if we choose to do that, we can also make it required, as well as some of the other options in this task type, including orders, which we can make required. We can then create a new order from the task, and we can also choose not to show the change orders, completed orders for recurring orders, orders that are incomplete, or orders that are quoted or pending approval. If we include the project, it asks us, do we want to include the milestone as well? Budget hours, we can make required. We can also set a default budget. If we include assets, it asks us if we want to make them required. Start date also includes start time, make required, or auto-calculate start time. If we include the time with the due date, we don't get any more options on that since it's already here. Make due date required. We can also auto-calculate the due date, which calculates based on the time that the task was created. The next section we'll look at is the notification options for this particular task type. Typically, we would get notifications sent out when the task is created, when the task is set in progress, and when the task is done. We can also choose to turn off assignment notifications. In this case, I'll make sure that we don't get any notifications on these, and I'll even turn off the task assignment notification, which would send an email to our default assignment up here. We can also include subcontractor options and make this subcontractor work. With that, we get even more options. Default is subcontracted, display customer information before acceptance, which is in the partner portal, and also make attachments uploaded by subcontractor visible to the customer. We can also choose our default PO template here and our default PO type. Let's go ahead and save this task type. I'm going to choose to display it in the menu. Before we get off of our task screen completely, let's go to checklist items. From here, we can actually add our own checklist items that would have to be checked off as done before we can actually complete the specific task that they refer to, or in this case, the task type. If I just wanted to be able to view the original transaction, make any necessary adjustments, and inform the contact on each and every checklist type task, then I can include these steps within it. I'll also move on to custom fields. Here, you can create your own custom field based on various qualities. You can choose alphanumeric, integer, decimal fields, currency, date and time fields, date fields, just time fields, yes/no fields, alphanumeric multiline, which is slightly longer than an alphanumeric in that it has no character count limit. We can include an attachment. We can choose values from custom list items, which we can create ourselves, or we can choose from an existing list, such as customers or contacts. I'll choose alphanumeric field, meaning that I can type anything I want into this field. I can also choose which section this particular field is located in, and I can make it required, encrypted, and visible in the portal. Our field of field is only available in the task info section. When the task is done, then I can choose to add more custom fields. So I could say something like yes/no field, and I could say something like, was this task completed well? I can also choose to display my yes/no field as either a checkbox or a radio button. In this case, I'll choose a radio button, and I'll make it required and visible in the portal. For this next segment, we'll take a look at task groups. Here, we can add our own task group, such as bake a cake. From our task group library, we can select our various library tasks, such as mix the ingredients, bake the batter, and decorate the cake. Adding these library tasks allow us to create a group task that consists of these three tasks mixed together. Now let's take a look at pools. You can see we have various service pools, accounting pools, purchasing pools, and sales pools already set up. Let's set up our own. In this case, let's go for the IT pool. Here we can choose whether we set this as a default for unassigned tasks. We can select our pool manager, who can assign tickets to the pool and to anyone from the pool, and our notification recipients. Let's save this pool. Remember that when setting up pools versus teams, pools allow for first-come, first-served task assignment, versus teams allow for collaborative work assignment on tasks. For this last section, I'm on the task list now, and I'm going to select this particular task. I want to show you what it looks like when you do the service metrics report, but in order to do that, we need to make sure that we have a start date and a due date, as well as a completion of this particular task. I'm going to skip ahead an hour and then mark this task done so that it will show up on my service metrics report. Be sure to watch for this task in a future video when we go over service metrics reporting. For now, thanks for watching, and please check out our next video.